one of today's biggest issues involving dating for both sexes is due to the fact that you've got women that believe wholeheartedly they could change a man, right, and change the way that he thinks in regards to getting involved in dating. And then you've got men that feel the need to buy a woman's love, and this is why dating does not work within this dynamic. Because when a woman so happens to try and change a man, she's also denying his independence, along with freedom to actually live life according to his own rules, assumed of course they are within correspondence to the gospel word, yeah? And then you've got men that are actually in fact wanting to buy a woman's love. And this is why, like I said, a lot of people that take this dynamic within dating fail. Because the man, like I said, is being denied his freedom along with free will. Because it's been being interfered with, for one. And then the women are actually in fact rejecting the said guys that are buying their love because they're not attracted to these said guys. I mean, come on, think about it, right? The men that women are really attracted to, who are they? Are they the guys that come across as predictable and easy to lock down, or are they the guys that basically are a challenge to actually lock down? They're going to go for the guy that's a challenge, aren't they, right? And this is why a lot of us have walked away, not just due to problems of our own regarding whether it be past childhood traumatic experiences or soul ties that we're still currently cutting off one by one, that is. Rather, it's due to the fact that we've got women trying to peer pressure us into taking that leap, or because their friends are actually in fact within relationships and marriages. And this is what people don't understand. Some of us, no matter how hard you peer pressure us into something we don't want to do, you're just pushing us away all the more, up to the point where we become so distant and so cold towards dating that no amount of pursuing, trying to change one's mind, along with peer pressuring, can actually in fact force us into taking that leap of faith. Some of us value our own independence. Better yet, we value our own freedom along with free will. Now, assuming of course the woman's feminine, she's sexually pure for one. Age, not really a big issue. And she's respectful of a man, appreciative for one, and doesn't feel the need to play games, have, sadistic motives or agendas or any of this bullshit. Then within time, when we're both good and ready, it'll happen when it happens. And another primary reason as to why people fail at dating, given today's day and age, is due to the fact that they feel the need to force things rather than wait it out and allow God behind the scenes to actually do the work. In other words, from their warped realities, they want now. They want now. They want now. And they don't even realise the damage that it's doing upon what could potentially be friendships and relationships with those that they're actually, in fact, inflicting all of this on to begin with. Some of us are family orientated, right? We want a family of our own later on down the line. But given today's day and age, the more we're actually peer pressured and forced into taking this leap of faith, the more we lose interest. Because we know that, one, it's being forced, and two, we are being peer pressured into doing something all because everybody else is doing it. And the problem, given today's day and age, people are sheep. They're unable to think and live for themselves. They're going by life following the blue-pilled narrative rather than the red-pilled community that so happens to be within correspondence to the gospel word. And this is why we have the mess that we have involving human psychology. Only would a man and a woman know when they are good and ready to tie the knot. Because like I said, it would align perfectly at the right time. I mean, the respect, the appreciation, the admiration, and the love for one another is still there. And they're willing to work at it regardless to whatever battles or struggles one of us, or better yet, both of us, actually face in life. And the more I think about it now, after deep reflection, there's no such thing as the most perfect person upon the face of the earth. I mean, we all have our flaws, but that's beside the point. The gospel itself clearly and evidently proves that we can, as a matter of fact, be made perfect. And this is what people don't understand. We can be made perfect. But yet when we actually speak out again about this, even, you know, we're persecuted, we're hated, we are basically accused of being heresies, teaching heretic kind of language and all of this nonsense, when in reality it's these clowns that are living within a world that they don't even realise is actually, in fact, imaginary and fake. Because one, the empty meat suits, they're nothing more than demons. I know I'm not referring to these monsters with horns and, you know, black capes and all of this bullshit. I'm referring to human-like demons that fell from the heavens above upon the face of the earth 6,000 years ago. And this is why we have the mess that we have, given today's day and age. People are operating through the subconscious mind and not the conscious, i.e. the conscience. And what happens when a person lives according to the conscience? One, they're able to discern much better and make healthier choices along with decisions in regards to the paths even that they choose to take when involving human connection and marriage later on down the line when they're both good and ready. But yet with the subconscious, which is what many people are living within, they don't get this. They're just basically following a system that they're brainwashed into following, or because they're told by the devil and, you know, those that actually run the show that it's the perfect way to go. And it's the same with these clowns that praise evil as good and good as evil. And this is why a lot of us have gone, do you know what, right, since the world actually knows what it's doing, what it's talking about, where it's going, and where it's heading, we've brushed our shoulders off and gone, you people crack on. But don't come crawling back, crying, begging and pleading for your golden ticket to actually, in fact, rescue each and every one of you from the damnation, the condemnation, and only God knows what else you inflict upon yourselves by living like a degenerate to begin with. Because we're not going to do it. We tried warning people time and time and time, PS, and time again, that one, they really and truly don't know what they're talking about. Even when they claim as clear as day they do, they actually don't. And two, they're following a narrative, like I said, a blue-pilled narrative that's only doomed to fail people from the start. It is what it is, but the good thing is, if you're under the red pill, right, whatever little you have in here and in here, you can still rebuild from all of that into becoming the men and the woman that we were designed and created to be biblically. These clowns, these dumbasses on the other hand, that feel the need to praise evil as good and good as evil, they are forever going to be haunted by their pasts. You know, they laugh and joke, you know, about it now from their hits of fake joy and happiness that they get from doing what they do. But little did they know that it's short-lived and temporary. And they are going to, like I said, go through the same things that they inflict upon us, however many folds over. And it's going to, you know, it's going to affect them more than it is us that they do it upon. Real talk. And this is why a lot of us have just basically gone, you know what, fine. You know, since the world knows best and it doesn't need no saviour, we're just going to let it burn, you know. But ironically, it's those that actually thought they knew what was going on and they knew what they were doing that always come crawling back, crying, begging and pleading. No. You're not going to convince us. No amount of begging and pleading is going to convince us. You're on your own. You are on your own. You know, we tried warning you however many times that this would happen. It's too late. The damage is done. And you are left, like I said, to your own devices to reap whatever you sow, however many folds over. People can laugh and joke all they want now, because they're going to come to the realization that it's nothing more than counterfeit goods in comparison to those that they steal from and those that they trample on and take advantage of, because we, on the other hand, we can earn all of these fruits naturally by doing the work and putting in the work. We don't feel the need to take. We don't feel the need to live outside of the Old Testament and the New Testament to get what we want. We don't feel the need to bear false witness, lie, cheat, steal, as well as commit any other degenerative act in order to get what we want. We're going about it the moral way, the correct way. And the hell with it, even if we do backslide and give in to temptation. We're honest. We're honest about it. Whereas these clowns, on the other hand, that rule even people's subconscious minds, they're not. Which is why, you know, a lot of the time, people actually in fact believe in their own lies. It's like, I don't know, God himself has actually placed the spirit of delusion and the spirit of denial upon these morons. And this is why, like I said, people fail every single time. Because one, they're living outside of the Old Testament and the New Testament, thus ultimately making them an abomination unto the Lord thy God. Whereas if they went about it the right way, in the moral way, the traditional way, no matter how hard it can actually be from occasions, or on occasions, might I add, if they went about it the right way, in the moral way, like I said, the traditional way, while it takes longer, they would actually in fact be much more grateful in the long run, because it means so much more, because they've put in the work in order to manifest the labour from their hard day's work. You see, to many people out there that follow this blue pill narrative, it's all about physical work. Oh, this guy's not physically working, whereas we are, therefore he's a slacker, he's this, he's that. Bullshit, yet again. Are you people out there putting in the work in here and in here? Are you making the relevant sacrifices? Are you giving up worldly pleasures, lustful desires, and all of this bullshit in order to get what you want from the gospel word itself, witnessed and approved by the Holy Spirit, whether it be real connections in people, as well as a feminine, sexually pure wife? Are you doing all of this? Or are you just following a blue-pilled narrative, believing all of the bullshit that people actually convince you into believing in over the gospel word? Don't even answer me that question, because I know, like I said, a lot of you are following the blue-pilled narrative. You're not following the gospel. You convince yourselves you are, but you're really not, though. Once again, this excludes 4, 6, 8, no more than 12 of you that actually in fact do follow the gospel. I admire you, respect you, and appreciate you in regards, you know, to whatever I go through, you know, because you're at least making the effort into seeking the truth, and you're willing to make the relevant sacrifices in order to get what you want from the gospel. Therefore, the admiration is there. But these clowns, like I said, on the other hand, that rule 98 up to 99% of subconscious minds within people, you know, they think they're doing the will of God by praising evil as good and good as evil. They think that they are actually doing the will of God, when they actually, in reality, you know, they're not. You know, they're not doing the will of God at all. Now, I'm a firm believer in resorting into using the law if and whenever it's necessary. But I see so much bullshit from people. Oh, they've done this, therefore you should actually, I don't know, cut off their fingers, or put them in a chair and bitch slap them across the room, or do this, do that. No. I think you'll find that that's in breach of the 10 Commandments, judgments and statutes, and you are an abomination for thinking like a pig, a swine, a degenerate, a moron. I believe a serious ass beating with the bamboo stick or belt and buckle would suffice. But to take it to those extremes that could potentially lead to physical death, no. You are doing a disservice. And you are, like I said, abusing the word, the gospel word of God. Me, I would actually in fact resort into beating the living shit out of someone with a bamboo stick or belt and buckle if they ever stepped out of line. Oh, you best believe I would. Kill them? I mean, come on now. Do I actually look like the type of guy that has it within me to take another life? No. Even if it meant saving myself and my family, on the other hand. Beat somebody into a coma, perhaps, where they're still alive. Yeah, I would let that slide. I would let that, work. But physically kill someone, whether it be decapitate someone, cut off their arms and legs, and then their head, just to watch them bleed out, and all of this nonsense, no. Because people are under the law, and what happens when people are under the law? You are, technically speaking, following self. You're not doing the will of God, nor are you following the word, the gospel word. Your works are of self-righteous, filthy, ragged works, and they will account for nothing. They will account for nothing on Judgment Day, when you're called forward to give an account of your lives. Because like I said, God will actually in fact deny you there and then. All because you chose to reject Him and the heavenly kingdom by following the law. But following the law from a degenerative point of view rather than a godly, point of view. Can somebody still follow the law? Like I said, within reason, yes. As long as it's not inflicting death upon people. Am I a firm believer, like I said, in beating somebody's ass with my belt and buckle or bamboo stick if they ever earned it? Yeah. Doesn't matter who you are. You could be a police officer. You could be somebody else's child. A member of the NHS. Hospital. A member of the mental health services. You could be a member of the fire brigade. You could be anyone, with whatever power you think you have. If you're abusing said power, you are entitled to receive an ass whooping with the bamboo stick or belt and buckle. Because you're abusing your power of authority by doing self-righteous, filthy, ragged works. Myself, on the other hand, I would be doing a service in exposing this and bringing it to light and treating those accordingly to how they dish it. So this is how it goes down, right? Can people still follow the law? Yes, without a shadow of a doubt. Because God is the law Himself. He is the law. Is another person liable as well as perfectly within his or her right by dishing out an ass beating with either a belt and buckle or bamboo stick if their boundaries are overstepped or they're being disrespected and disgraced in any way, shape or form? Yes, absolutely. It's necessary, because this is why we have the mess that we have today, and this is why we have so many people getting away with all of their degenerative ways. You know you're on the right path when you're doing a much better job than the police force themselves. Because a lot of the police nowadays, one, they're arresting the wrong type of people. They're arresting innocent people that have been accused of things. Two, a lot of them abuse, not all, a lot of them even, they abuse their power of profession, like I said, for their own self-righteous, wicked ways. And in rare cases, I'm referring to the UK here, within rare cases, kill if necessary, for no good reason other than a pride and ego boost, or mistaken identity, perhaps a mistaken call, where somebody was accused of, say, I don't know, carrying an armed weapon, even if it was under license, when it actually turned out to be nothing more than, say, a black pipe, or anything like that. Like I said, these circumstances are rare within the UK, because thankfully, despite, the corruption that all of our law, officers inflict, they so happen to be more switched on, I guess, in here, in comparison to, say, the United States of America, where they actually kill others just because they're black. Now that's racism, and that shit has to stop. Real talk, it has to stop. I'm just ranting about anything and everything now. Going back to the beginning of this video, because that's what this video is technically about, before I got carried away, basically bringing everything to light that's on my mind. The reason why we have the mess that we have involving dating between man and woman is due to the fact that you've got women that are trying to not only peer pressure men and force men into relationships they don't want to be in. You've also got men out there that are dumb enough and blindsided enough to actually buy a woman's love. Women aren't really attracted to men that buy their love. It's a well-known fact. They can pretend that they are. I know deep down, within my heart and mind, they're really not. And this is why, like I said, it's only going to get much worse within the dating game, or better yet, the marriage game, as I'd like to call it, because some of us, we're not one for dating, rather we're one for seeking the gift of marriage instead, right? It's only going to get much worse before it gets any better. If a woman can accept the fact that her man requires his freedom, along with his free will to live, and she isn't a nuisance, and she isn't, doing everything she possibly can to ruin all of that with her selfish, degenerative ways, and she genuinely appreciates, respects, and loves her man, and is willing to be by his side regardless to whether or not he's having good days or bad days, then I would say keep that woman. Work on whatever it is that, you've got going on. This goes to anyone, really. Because given today's day and age, it's rare, because like I said, people are living within their own fantasies, their own warped ways. If they want something, they take it, right? Without thinking of the punishments nor consequences to their own actions, they take it. And that's the wrong way to go about things. And this is why friendships, for one, don't last. Because like I said, people are living outside of the Old Testament and the New Testament, thus ultimately making them an abomination unto the Lord thy God. Assuming, of course, lest they repent of their evil, wicked ways, reconcile their relationships with God himself via the very presence of the Son of Man. It is what it is. So there we have it. So my advice on to both men and women, to you men, quit with this blue-pilled way of thinking that, you know, to get a woman's love you have to buy it, for one, because it's not going to work. And to you women, stop peer pressuring, stop trying to force men and change men and their ways of thinking as well as living for your own sick gratificational needs, because you're only going to repel us and push us away all the more. Learn to respect, you know, said man's boundaries, and allow God, like I said, along with the gospel word, do the work. Because you're not going to get anything in life, like I said, by one, forcing it, or two, changing it. You can't change a man into a particular said version of a man that you want him to be. No matter how hard you try, it's just not going to happen. You're going to repel us and push us away, permanently for good, if you keep on going down this path. If you're the complete opposite of that, and you're following the gospel word, and you're hearkening onto the voice of man, you know, the husband even, not man, that happens to know what he's talking about, like I said, despite whatever he's going through in here, and in here, then this video isn't for you. Because you're going about things the right way. You're going about things the moral way. And that right there is admirable. It's respectful. And appreciative. No, I, personally, am appreciative of said women that actually go about things the right way. It is what it is.